Okay, today we're going to do a backyard tour of my garden. We'll start here on the side. You've never really seen this. This is the swale that I call a swale, however you say it. I think it's swale, where all the water rushes. It drains from the neighborhood. My property line ends at the fence. It does stay in shade because of the fence, or that 2 feet from the fence. And it used to be brush, so I can kind of see where some of the stumps and everything didn't really they didn't dig them out or grind them down. I might have them grind. I hate to pay for a grinder. I might just leave it. Anyways, I think I will have to figure out what I can plant along the fence line. That doesn't mind wet feet, and plant it about 2 feet away from the fence line to kind of pretty up this section, because that's a lot of good growing space for some really interesting shrubs. And I could use a lot of the shrubs as fillers and support and structure in flower arranging if I ever get decent at it. But let's go ahead and look. For some reason my controls are backwards. Maybe I have my phone upside down, but I don't think I do. Okay, so we'll start here with my raised beds. Got a lot of weeds and stuff growing up through the grass, but again, this used to be kind of brush, and we put sod in last year, so I think it's just kind of the natural stuff that was here before, growing up through the sod. This was my zinnia bed. I started deadheading on the other side, but not this side. So these are all my like floret zinnias, and I think some Dawn Creek zinnias. So these were kind of more of the specialty zinnias. I don't really ever come back here to even cut them back, but this is a butterfly haven. And so again, on the other side, I did deadhead, but just not this side. I also have Cerinthe in here, and I'd put some nasturtium, and then I think this is a big weed. I think this is a giant weed. Or is this cress? Did I plant? No, I might have planted some cress. This could be some cress. I don't remember. I did stick something else in here. But you can see, not very attractive. I didn't really even love. Whoops. Once again, I'm having trouble. Okay. Here we go. I didn't really even love these zinnias in this zinnia patch. So I don't really come, even if I'm in the backyard at the roses, I don't come back here, but it desperately needs to be deadheaded. But again, I don't know if you can see all the butterflies. Got tons of butterflies. So I kind of just leave it alone. More butterflies. These two garden beds are just kind of overgrown nothingness. Yeah, I just ignore them. After my anemones died back in this bed here, I just we had some celosia reseed, and it's just weeds. Horrible weeds. So if you have weeds in your garden, I do too. And then this was my cool flowers that had all self-seeded. Just the Dara that I cut back and is growing back again. My larkspur back here that's gone to seed that I haven't cut back because I was going to try and save some of those seeds. Some other celosia, which is self-seeded from this bed over here last year. Yeah, so if you think, how does she do it all? She must spend all our time in a garden. I do, but I also have areas that I just completely ignore. Next year, I want to concentrate on my annuals and my seed starting again. So hopefully next year I'll take more care back here. This garden I did plan, except for this. Did I plant this? I don't know. It's kind of fun and they last forever in a vase, but they smell really funny. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna have to see if it's something I planted. Some self-seeded celosia. This is my favorite gomphrena of all my gomphrenas. This is the carmine. Or was it raspberry cream? Okay, I don't remember. It's carmine or raspberry cream gomphrena, but I love that color. Then I have some purple gomphrena here. I've got some salmon Oklahoma. I really like the Oklahoma series zinnias because you can mix those in with your roses and they don't overtake them. So I have the white and salmon Oklahoma series in here. And then I'm not sure why this pink one showed up. It could have been self-seeded because I did have some zinnias in here last year, even though I pretty much dug out this bed, and it's a combination of soil from this original bed and then what used to be in this bed. Have some snapdragons growing, sunflowers. This is my first batch of sunflowers that I planted, and the rabbits got them, so I was pulling them out, except for maybe 3 of them that the rabbits didn't nibble off the top, but the ones that I left behind actually grew back. So next year I'll remember not to pull them out. Here is a pokeweed, desperately needs to come out. I do not want pokeweed. I don't know if it's called a pokeweed or poke bush or poke something, but yeah, it's all over. So this was, I put some more sunflowers in here about a month ago, and the birds got them all except for these 2. So then I cleared it, and this is where I'm going to put my florist roses. Remember I talked about the florist roses that I was going to move from the front yard? This is where I'm going to move them in the backyard because they will be, I don't know, because it's a smaller area, more contained, and then I don't have to worry about how they look in the garden. Next year I will probably keep this garden as a rose garden too, and just make, if I'm planting zinnias and sunflowers, I'll put them in these center two gardens. Just keep these first 4 gardens for other flowers and then put roses in these 2. That was the original plan till I found all those Asian jumping worms. These 2 raised beds I cut out, or I hired someone to cut out the hardware cloth. In fact, here it is here because I was trying to cover the top of the beds to keep the birds out, but they still got the sunflower seeds anyway because I just laid it on top, so they just basically picked through and needed to be elevated, so they just kind of picked through the wire. So yeah, that's what's going on back here. Here is my horrible compost pile, which really isn't a compost pile. It's really just where I throw all of my clippings, but I never really cut them back, like trying to make compost out of them. I've got tomatoes growing in here. I've got stuff from my neighbor's brush growing here. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that comes through from my neighbors. There was poison ivy in the spring. They did come in and clear it out. I'm looking on their side, and they did have somebody clear it out, but it was really overgrown on the other side of the fence, and a lot of that came through. I do need to come back and trim some of these bushes that are on my side because it's putting shade over. It does put some afternoon shade or earlier shade over my pots over here because the sun gets right where, kind of coming from the direction where I'm standing. And so it just adds earlier shade. I don't mind the late afternoon shade, you know, after 12, but it starts shading the pots pretty early. You can kind of see everything kind of leaning forward. I don't know, maybe you can't, but I can see things leaning forward. These are also florist roses. It's my Princess series, Princess Hitomi, Princess Maya, Princess Sakura. Gosh, this one was so pretty. I mean, you can tell what color pink it will be. It's a real bright pink. And Princess Fairy Kiss in the back. Look at this. There's this small, really, really pretty. Again, the sprays. I mean, this one, I could cut it now. The sprays last for a long time in the vase. Same with this one. You can cut it and get a beautiful now, or I could, this one will die back and then I'll get these 3 open and then I can cut it. But if you leave it on, they tend to look ugly. This is my Notting Hill. Again, florist rose. I don't know why with my camera when I have it in this program, it just really blows out so you can't see. There's the color. It's a very peachy color. I don't know why the color is overexposing. There we go. I'll get in real close. There's the color. Paradise Beach, another florist rose. I say Miyabi Silva Pink. This one was really struggling. I did get one bloom. Yeah, that one really hasn't done well. Oh, my Peony Pink. These little pink blooms really are cupped and shaped like peonies. But they have the florist rose 2-week vase life. And then Bridal Piano, it bloomed while I was in France, but I don't know what it looks like because I missed it. Let's see, what do we got here? Let me lift this up. I'm not going to go through every single rose, but I will talk about this rose. This is a white rose. This is Susan William Ellis. The roses always look like this. They're not really cupped. They don't get hybrid T-shape. They don't get a peony cup shape. They just kind of open up like that. Don't like it. It's 2 years old. I really want to get rid of it. Dig it out, put something else there. I just haven't done that yet. So this one was supposed to be a pink rose called Catherine, which I picked it because it was Catherine spelled with a K like my daughter, even though it wasn't exactly spelled like her name because she has a Y in her name. Can you see it? But it's totally apricot, so I think they sent me the wrong rose. So I missed huge flush on my roses when I was in France at the end of June, but you can see all these buds. So I will have another flush soon. This is First Crush Parfuma. So it's a Cordis rose. If you're not familiar with Cordis roses, if you're just hearing David Austin, David Austin, David Austin, which of course I love my David Austins, and I do a lot of David Austin videos because everyone wants to hear about David Austins. Cordis roses, I mean, look at the shrub. Remember if you watch my front yard video, you see how my David Austins are naked. Here's a Cordis rose, okay? I have not done anything to it. I have not taken off black spot leaves. It's just super healthy, and look at all the buds. So Parfuma Bliss, you've seen pictures of my Bliss rose. That is a Cordis rose. Non-stop bloomers. You should look for them if you want easy roses that you can cut and bring inside. Yeah. Okay, so this is my Beverly Eleganza. This is another Cordis rose. Okay, I said yesterday, I said the day before, I was going to bring some wooden stakes out for these stems, and I did not do it. We had a really hard rain yesterday. And I'm glad it didn't snap these stems. So today I will be putting these up. But yeah, another Cordis rose. Raspberry cupcake is raspberry cupcake, another Cordis rose. Look at these. So this is like my little Cordis section. I didn't realize, but it feels like my little Cordis section. Raspberry cupcake. This one I ordered. This one doesn't have any blooms on it, but you can see it's going to bloom. And look at all this new growth. So new growth does come red. It does come with the leaves kind of furled, but they open. So you might hear a lot about rose rosette disease, and that's happens on roses. It's not a lot of knockout roses. So if you have knockout roses and you get, they're not just closed like this, because these are going to open up to be like this. But if you get, they're closed, but they're wavy and gnarled, and they never open up, and you have a ton of thorns just like almost next to each other, you have rose rosette disease, and you need to remove that shrub. It will spread to all of your roses. You have to dispose of it in a trash can, not in a compost. It's you can't cure it, caused by mites. The mites only live on roses, and they travel in the wind. So if you don't remove it, they could blow to your next rose bush if you still have the mites on them. I can tell I have thrip damage. See how this bud looks like this? Early in the season, it could be caused by proliferation, which is the temperature going, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. But this one is definitely thrip damage. They actually will get into the buds. And if your buds all stay really small and don't kind of open up to full size, buds, like this is a full size bud for this rose. But if they stay really tiny, and then your roses open like this, you could have thrips. So I can spray spinosad, like Captain Jack's Dead Bug Brew, which is organic. That works. I've been trying beneficials, but I ran out of beneficials. This is an old sachet from Heirloom. I was doing their beneficial program. So you can order some beneficials that like thrips. This is the cucumaris. So you can get the sachets. I think I saw them at another place. I'm going to order a bunch of more sachets because I only get 10 of them, and I put most of them in my front yard. But I can tell I need to get them back here now that these roses in the back are getting bigger. These roses are more unique, harder to find. I ordered these from a place in Canada, which is no longer selling in the US anymore. It's called Palatine. This is Rosary du Châtelet. You might be able to find it at some other online vendors. So it's a big rose. It's not a climber, but I did have to put a trellis behind it because it was getting crazy, and they were all following to each other. I do have another trellis to put back here because I have a dahlia back there. So I want to put the trellis right here. Here's some more. Oh, and this one is Californicus. Also came from Heirloom, and they also will eat thrips. This is a new sachet that I put there. And then back here, look at this one, it's Sidoni. Sidonie, Sidoni. Whoops. It is not blooming at all now, but again, it's a massive plant, a massive shrub. I didn't realize it was going to get quite this big. So these three shrubs, they remind me more of old garden roses, the way they bloom. I haven't really brought them inside, but these are three shrubs. When they're tall, I can look out my sliding glass door or out my window when I'm sitting on the couch and see them. Okay, here's a florist rose. It's called White O'Hara. You can see, again, petals on a florist rose never come off. They never fall off, they just rot on the shrub. Like this, they just rot on the shrub. But this is a beautiful, the O'Hara series. They are very, very perfumed, very fragrant. I have a white and a pink one. First year, so they're pretty small, but I'm excited to see what they do next year. Bolero, I have one of these in front too. Look at this. It's kind of a white, creamy, with a creamy pale yellow center. And again, super fragrant. Love these fragrant ones. My Liv Tyler. Oh, here's my pink O'Hara, but it's faded. So it's on the outskirts. Try to see if I can see how pink it is. I can't. And again, I really only walk my backyard maybe once a week. So I miss all these roses. Like this one, Victorian Bride. Okay, I need to cut these because you can see if I can shade this. You can see the outer edges are turning brown, but because these roses last forever, I could cut this, and can you see that it's just a nice little pink? I can cut this now and just pull off the outer petals to the fresh petals, and then it'll stay like that and look great in the vase forever. So these particular florist roses came from Grace Rose Farm, and I don't know if they're going to sell, what they're going to sell next year. I think every year they're still trying to find their feet, and every year they kind of change up their offerings. So last year they sold a ton of florist roses. For this year, a lot of them are more finicky, and here's another one that just dies, how it looks on the bush if you don't deadhead it. A lot of them are more finicky and require maybe a more experienced rosarian to take care of, and or just require a lot of attention. And so I think they're re-evaluating which ones they want to offer, the ones that seem to do better for more people and more climates. Yeah, so I don't even know what they're going to offer this fall. It's kind of exciting to see. Okay, over here, this area only, well, it stays shade most of the time. You can see it's got shade from my garage. See? There. So it's got shade from the garage right now. And then it gets shade from the trees in the afternoon. So this is my very limited sun area right here. So I have some astilbe. I wondered why they weren't growing, and then realized the rabbits were getting at them. So I had 4 cages available that I put on about 2 weeks ago, and these little babies have doubled in size in the last 2 weeks. So it definitely was that rabbits or chipmunks or something nibbling on them. And then in front, I have some hellebores. Planted them after, like, gosh, I think I probably planted them in April. So next year, I'm hoping to get a good, some blooms. And these are new, just planted this year, hydrangeas. This is obviously getting a fungus in here. I probably need to spray them with the same fungicides that I spray my roses on, or spray on my roses. But I don't really like to spray in this area because now we're getting close to my little tiny veggie patch. Here's one. I do have these. I'm getting attacked by mosquitoes. No, I just killed this one that has bitten me 3 times. I used an organic mosquito spray instead of DEET, and it's obviously not working. I'm very tasty to them. Okay, so these tomato beds are on drip, but it's the same drip that goes to my roses, so it's not going off every day like they need when it's super hot. This bed, I already dug up some beets, but I left a couple small ones to see if they'd get any bigger. But I got a nice little beet harvest. I also back here have some more grow bags. I did turn off the water here, so these are looking a little bit better. This one has a large shutoff valve just for this strip. And I had it on when I was out of town for 2 weeks. And then I turned it off when I came back because we had a lot of rain. This back here used to be a wood pile or a dirt pile, and now it's just an overgrown weed pile. I'm kind of scared to walk back there because of snakes. So I need to get that cleaned up, or at least if I wait to the winter to get it cleaned up, then keep it or maintain it or do something so it doesn't get overgrown like that. I've got a bunch of berries, blackberries and raspberries. Over here, I never come back here. There were some beautiful blackberries, because actually I did come back here to pick some tomatoes. Here's Aroma. There's some tomatoes here. And I saw some berries there, but I don't come back to pick. Okay, we'll just come over here. I've had this climber, this trellis is another one of these white trellises. It has been, I've had it since maybe April. Okay, it needs to be put together, and it needs to go right next to this one. It needs to go right here. This is a climber that I wanted it to be start on this trellis and then have the majority of it going on this trellis, the new trellis, and then this is a climber. And they're all kind of a dark pink climber, and I wanted it also to continue up this trellis. I did want maybe 1 or 2 branches of this middle one. This is a Pretty in Pink Eden, to kind of go over to this one. This is an American Beauty climber. It is not the All American Beauty or the American Beauty Hybrid Tea. This is a climber. It was the one that I said my grandmother grew, but it's a one-time bloomer. So I wanted a repeat bloomer, like maybe just 1 or 2 canes, going through this one to provide some interest. Though I did stick a clematis, and that one's finally taking off, so maybe that'll continue to keep some interest up here. Got some brand new roses up front. This one's Sweet Spirit. It is a neon pinkish red rose. Somebody had mentioned, you don't have any red roses. I don't. I have 1 red rose, and that was a freebie. I don't know, red roses just aren't my thing, but I never say never, right? All right, let's come back here. My arm, all I want to do is itch it. Put my tomatoes down. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I was putting my tomatoes down. Okay, we'll just look here on the stairs. This is my little herb garden. I cut it back because it was growing too big, but I haven't used any of the sage, but I've used some oregano. I used some thyme last night. I do use the basil, cut the basil. My husband likes the mint. I cut this one back yesterday because all the mint was starting to grow over, and I was afraid it would get into the yard. And then the rosemary. So these are the ones, I wanted them close to the house so I don't have to walk outside. to get them. We are starting, I met with the contractor to tell him of my plans for here. Well, I'll just tell you, even though you're not gonna really be able to see it. But initially, I just want a screened-in porch, starting from the garage, going out. I don't want these two garage drainage pipes there. So coming here, and going all the way here. So if you see the gable, and see how it kind of overlaps the roof, I don't know if they can just continue it all the way to where that yellow bin is and make that a giant screened porch. Then I want to center a door on the screened porch, and then you come down 3 steps to a patio level, and then, you know, maybe we could put a patio table there. And then I want a lower gable right here. So it's going to be starting here, a lower gable to, I'm not sure if I should include this light right before it or right after it, but it will be on a patio level. And that's where we'll put my husband's Blackstone and his wood chip grill. It's not a Traeger, but it's equivalent to a Traeger. You know, so we'll have our little grill station for him here, but it will be covered. And then we'll do a matching one, same size here. Again, just patio level. And that will be kind of my potting area. So I'll put my potting table there, potting. It will take some of these dahlia beds, so this will have to go, which has always been temporary. But so I'll have a big gable and then 2 smaller gables coming down, you know, on a flat patio. So we need to get it sketched out. I did ChatGPT, and that's where I got the kind of feel for the roof line, but it didn't. Even though I put a picture of my house, it refused to give me exactly what I was looking for. Anyways, but that's okay. And then over here, and this will be kind of tough because of these windows, but I would love, these are 2 bathrooms. That's the master bath. My daughter was sick and she came to stay here to get some TLC, so she's sleeping. But this is the master bath and this is the hall bath. But if the roof line came right between the 2 windows, just one of those farmhouse roofs, just a little roof line right here. I have another hose link that I'm going to put right here, and then again I can just kind of work with water and make a mess with dirt and just kind of wash the dirt off into the yard. Over here it is time to harvest sweet peas. So I let them go to seed. These aren't ready yet, they're still green. When you tap them, can you hear that? They should rattle. So that means that they're ready to harvest. I identified some of them, but I'm just gonna have one big sweet pea mix of seeds. So I need to come and harvest all these. Look at this dahlia, one of my first dahlias. This is called Bloomquist Arise. And so this one I actually put in the garden bed. So I definitely will be leaving this here year after year. So it should start being an even earlier bloomer. The lilac that I brought back from my dad's, this is gonna get massive. I wonder, I'm gonna have to look up lilacs and see if that might be an option to move in front of that fence. Big, giant lilac. I know in Maine, so I brought this from Maine, so definitely a different climate. In Maine, you know, his was, what, 10, 12 feet tall, 20 feet wide. So anyway, so it really can't stay there. It'll get too big from there. Then I have some peonies here. My peonies never do that great because I literally have been moving them every year. And then of course I have some echinacea or coneflowers. And then coming back here on my rose, rose, not rose as in the flower, but rose as in several rows of dahlias. Look at this, I need to rip this out. I started ripping it out, I got a big pile of stuff. Again, then I get scared of snakes, so I need to stir it up and then just come and cut. My husband mows up until that point. But my dahlias that are in the ground, that I did not get into the ground till, gosh, around the 20th of May, some of them are doing great. You can see in that the water where it kind of rushes through, because it kind of washes away all the mulch. And so these dahlias didn't come up. They just got too wet. You see another area right here where they were struggling again because the water comes through from the yard in the rain. This was one of my favorites last year, Malibu, but fortunately I got a couple Malibu that I put over here too. So I forgot though, my goal was not to put the same breed. I mean, I wanted them next to each other to make a big cluster, but I also wanted them somewhere else in case one area didn't grow well. I think I lost my Strawberry Hill. I think these were the Strawberry Hill, which was my favorite last year, super early coming up, and I lost them. And then like here's a Cafe au lait. I don't know if that's going to do anything. So hopefully, oh, I did put Cafe au laits over there. So yeah, my goal was not to put the same type everywhere, but look, I'm starting to get blooms. The raspberry color ones are my favorite. And then it's the pale pink ones. Here's my peaches and cream. I don't know, it got eaten by a thrip or something. So it's only going to be half bloomed. This one was my favorite 2 years ago, and then I gave them all away, and I had a mislabeled dahlia called Peaches and Cream, but it was not Peaches and Cream. So I kept all the mislabeled ones and planted them, and then I gave away all my good ones because they were skinnier and scrawnier and weren't as healthy. But I did plant one in a, and even though it didn't really bloom a lot, it did give me a bunch of tubers. So I have several Peaches and Cream here. Obviously, if I can keep this one alive and if it doesn't rot, I'm gonna have several more tubers for next year, and I can move them, put some in the garden in front. Over here is my dahlias. This is a, I think this is Creighton Honey. Whoops, what are you doing? I was thinking I was doing so good. Let me come on the other side. I think I just have to. So these kind of pale ones are my Creighton Honey. Don't know. They're I don't know how you say this. Crichton, Creighton Honey. Anyways, they make like 1,000 tubers. I couldn't give them away. I had so many. But this area, these beds, I had issues with the critters nibbling on them, so I had to put some cages around them, trying to get them, the leaves to grow so the critters didn't nibble all of them off. But I obviously lost quite a few new ones. So that's kind of, dahlias are expensive. To buy a tuber, I mean, you can pay anywhere from $7, which is hard to find. $15 is kind of normal, but $20, $25 for $35 for the more desirable types. I have a lot of Cozy Town dahlias. I know people that sell tubers don't buy them anymore because you can't sell their tubers anymore, resell them. But to grow them or to sell for cut flowers or anything like that, these are my Cozy Town dahlias shrubs right here. The new ones, first year, super, super healthy. Last year, the 3 that I bought were the healthiest dahlias of all. So if you're not going to try and sell your tubers, I suggest looking at Cozy Town dahlias. Beautiful. Whoops. And then finally, here's my distant drums. Look at this one. I love her. Second year, tons of blooms. Had tons of blooms first year too. So distant drums is definitely one to start with. Had a lot of black spot though. Yeah. And she is a Dr. Griffith Buck release, a new release. And then here's Honey Dijon. Also tons of black spot. And I wonder if it's just this area, because these 3 have a ton of black spot. And this is a hot cocoa. I'm thinking of digging her up. I just don't love her. She doesn't do anything for me, and I could put something that I love in her place. But we'll see what she does in the fall. She has one more kind of growing season to win me over. Coco Loco. This is like super popular. Everyone was saying, oh, Coco Loco, buy Coco Loco. I don't like it. I'm digging it up. I'm giving it away. What we started doing is giving, this is my girlfriends that have a lot of roses. We're giving them away at our Rose Society meeting for $10 donation. So I will take that to my next Rose Society meeting for $10 donation to the Rose Society. Here, more little florist roses. These should get to be about 3 feet tall, but they're going to stay nice and tight. This one's called Julietta. Can you see? Oh, no, let me see if I can get the color. There's the color. This one is called Julietta Raspberry. And then this one's Julietta Cerise, but it doesn't have any blooms right now. But these next year should get full-size blooms, like 3 inches across. I mean, right now they're, 1.5, maybe 2 inches, but they should get bigger for next year. Here's Summer Rose. Got a lot of blooms getting ready to come out on here. Another florist rose. This one is kind of that white. There's one back here. Almost with a green undertone. But again, I have found my florist roses first year stay really small, tight, close to the ground, and or the majority of them, not all of them. And then later they will get big. And that's it. That is my backyard tour for July. We're hoping both my husband and I lost a parent in 2024, and with property left to us and our siblings, and both properties are under contract with the September closing dates. So when they close and when the estate is settled, that's when we'll do work on the backyard or the back patio. So we can just pay cash and not have to take out an equity loan or steal from our savings. Yeah, so things will change because we will definitely take out these 2 rows of dahlias and probably have a garden bed along the edge of the patio. Yeah, shoot, we could take out all these dahlias. We could take out all the raised beds. I mean, I don't know what we'll do. I mean, maybe we'll take out all of this and just leave that back row. I need to mull on that one a little bit. Okay, I hope everyone enjoyed this backyard tour. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.